By now, we all agree that you can get to sell a ton and still be broke. The problem that is in profit margins. Yeah. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you get to increase your profit margins so that you get to keep more of what you get to earn without you ever chasing around clients. So if that's interesting, then let's get into the video. But first, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Alan. I get to help solopreneurs and new entrepreneurs get to start, grow, and scale their business. With that being said, let's get to the video. So the first thing we need to understand here is we need to know what is profit margin in the first place and why is it something of importance to all solopreneurs, businesspreneurs, in aspect to all business owners. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know what profit margins are, this is simply a percentage of the revenue that you get to keep after you make all expenses. Yeah. Say if it is one product you've sold, let me just use an example. If it is this white marker you've sold, what is the percentage of revenue that you've kept after all expenses that were incurred in selling this marker pen? Okay, so that is what profit margin is in the first place. Yeah. So maybe to give you an example of what this really is. Yeah. Let's say you run a business and you make a sale. Yeah. You make a sale of 10,000. Yeah. And from this, you get to have some sort of revenue. Yeah. Which is 2,000. Huh? This is revenue. So your profit margin here becomes 20%. Yeah, because 2,000 is just 20% of 10,000. Yeah, so this becomes your profit margins. And maybe something I didn't tell you earlier is that sometimes profit margins is expressed as a percentage. Yeah, that is why we are saying 20%, because 20% is just 2,000 when you get to express it in terms of 10,000. So you might ask, why does profit margin even matter in the first place? Well, the quickest answer is with better profit margins, your sales get to matter less. Yeah. I know it sounds confusing, but let me give you an example. Maybe it will try to spark some more light or insight on what this means exactly. Yeah. I want you to think of two businesses. Yeah. That is business A and business B. Yeah. So business A is making about 100,000 in revenue. Yeah. And then its percentage margin or its profit percentage margin is 10%, meaning it is making a profit or revenue profit of 10,000. Yeah. So for every 100K in revenue, given the percentage profit of 10%, this business is making revenue profit of 10,000. Okay. Now let's also get to consider business B. Yeah. For it makes 50K in revenue, 40% of profit margin, and then the revenue or profit it gets to make is 20,000. Yeah. Now I want you to notice something. Yeah. Business B is making half the sales of business A, but it is making double the profits of business A. Yeah. Double profit of business A. So what does that get to mean? It means that with better profit margins, yeah, your sales won't get to matter because at the end of the day, you're going to make better revenue or better revenue profit. Yeah. Just as our examples show that 40% of the profit margins business B had, it doubled its sales revenue or its profit revenue to 20% as opposed to what business A was doing. So I hope this gets to paint a clear shade of why it is even so important for you to consider profit margins. Now, there are three basic ways you can get to increase on your profit margins. Yeah. So I would prefer to represent this in form of a triangle. So we have A, B, C. So this is profit margins. Yeah. So if you want to increase profit margins, I want you to always keep this triangle in mind. Yeah. So now let's look at what these are. A is probably you get to increase on your price. Yeah. Other people call it charge more. Now with B, you get to decrease on costs. Other people call it spend less. And then with C, you get to improve on efficiency. Other people say get more out of what you have. So these are basically the only three ways you're going to increase your profit margin. So Always keep this in mind. ABC. That means increase on your price or charge more, decrease on your cost or get to spend less, and then improve on your efficiency or get more out of what you already have. Okay. Now let's get to have a detailed look at each of these. Yeah. Starting off with the first one, which is increase price or charge more. So now here's the thing. Most businesses out there get to undercharge themselves. Yeah. They are not aware of how you can get to increase on the prices that you get to charge your clients. Yeah. But if you're watching this and you've been underselling yourself or undercharging, yeah. So this is basically what you get to do. I want to assume that you're running some sort of product-based business. Yeah. So the first thing you're going to do if you want to increase your price or get to charge more is one, I want you to get to increase on more value. Yeah. So add more value. If it is, if it is, if it is, if you're selling some sort of juice, yeah, I want you to add more value into it. Don't just sell it in polythene bags or these local bags. I want you to at least try to bottle them up. Yeah. Give it better package. Yeah. So one is add more value. Yeah. The second thing, I want you to go ahead and on the same product, I want you to better its packaging. Yeah. Make that packaging so appealing to the people that get to see it. Yeah. So better your packaging. Then, if at all you're dealing in a service-based business, the best thing you'll ever get to do in order for you to increase your price or get to charge more is to better your services. Better your services. And then lastly, and this is so important, get to better your positioning. Don't position yourself as the second alternative in any solution business. Always improve your positioning by putting yourself as the only number one solution available to your potential market. Okay, so better your positioning. Now, when you get to do all these four, you get to be in a position where you get to charge more or increase more of the price that you're going to charge from your clients. The other thing I want you to note that is even 10% increase in price can massively get to lift up your profit margin, provided that all the costs remain the same. Okay, so that is very important for you to note. I hope this is now clear. So A is already covered. Now we head over to B, which is decrease costs, or what others might say, get to spend less. So when it comes to decreasing costs or getting to spend, what we get to do here is we trim the fat, not the muscle. Most of you tend to have that general problem where you think that, oh, when it comes to decreasing the price or spending less, all I have to do is I get to cut or decrease on the quality of what I get to sell. And this is the baddest mistake you'll ever make. In fact, it is the most terrible mistake any business will ever get to do. The moment you get to reduce on the quality, just know you're heading your business into a downfall. You're heading your business into a doom because people are now going to take off and you will start asking yourself, oh, why am I losing most of my clients? And it's because of this. So don't get to cut the muscle, just cut on the fat. Yeah? The best way I can get to think about this is for you to find means of how you can spend less in that business. And the most efficient ways I could get to think of is one, get to do some negotiations with your potential suppliers. Yeah. Negotiate better with suppliers. So these are the people that tend to give you products to sell. Yeah. Let's say you're running some sort of supermarket. Yeah. These are the people that are going to be bringing in the goods that you get to sell. So negotiate for better percentage revenue. Negotiate for better cutoff. You say, if let's say I sell, you're selling me something worth 10,000. Yeah. And initially, if I get to sell it, I get a profit of about 2,000, yeah, which is 20%. So if I'm to do some negotiation, I'll get to tell this guy that, oh, you're selling me something at 10,000, but how about from this, I get to get some extra cutoff so that when I get to sell, I get to earn about 2,500. So this is a better way, all right? And I'm going to give you a reason as to why this makes sense. But for now, I want you to first remember this. Always get to have better negotiations with suppliers, because these are the people that tend to give you business at the end of the day. All right. So the second thing, get to cut on unused subscriptions. This is important. So most of you have some point of sale sort of software subscriptions, yeah? And truth be told, most of you ain't even using this stuff. Yeah. So instead of you just wasting extra money on subscribing to this, subscribing to Notion, subscribing to Excel, subscribing to Adobe, subscribing to all sorts of stuff, why not cut off these unused subscriptions? Yeah. Only focus on those that tend to bring you more money and those that you always use on a daily basis. Anything you don't use more than 5 times a week, just cut it off. That is the rule. If it is less used 5 times a week, I would advise you ditch it. You cut it off your cost of subscriptions. So that's the second thing. Now, the third thing is get to outsource smartly. Now, this is so important, more so for those of you who go to China to outsource your products to sell. Yeah. If you ever make a mistake and outsource bad quality stuff, trust me, this is going to haunt you. You'll be just trimming the muscle, not the fat. And for this case, we don't want to trim the muscles because the muscles are so important for the growth of our business. All we want to do is trim the fat. So always outsource quality. Okay, so that is one. The second thing, if you're the kind of person who outsources labor, yeah, don't just go out there and outsource cheaper labor. Always outsource the best of the people. Because trust me, at the end of the day, it is that quality labor that is going to bring you 10x, 5x, 100x of the revenue that you're going to have. And the other benefit of outsourcing quality labor is they get to do the work in half the time that all those unexperienced guys tend to do it. So that is also an important thing. And when you get to spend less or less time on the work that is required, it will mean you're going to have more jobs you get to finish in the minimal time available. And that way, you increase on your profit margins. I hope this is now making sense. Going back to the point where I told you, when you get to make better negotiations and you increase on like a certain slight percentage of the profits you get to earn, it makes more sense. And this is the reason why. Every dollar that you get to save is put straight onto your margin profit basket. And that is why it is so important for you to have this better. That is why I told you, if you had someone who supplies goods worth 10,000 and after sale you earn 2,000, yeah, if you are a better negotiator, you're going to get them give you some sort of cut which goes straight, yeah, it goes straight to your profit margin, say by 500, to give you to 2,500. Yeah? And this 500, as I told you, goes straight to your profit margins. And guess what happens? You get to increase on your margins. Okay. And now C is improve on efficiency. What some call get more from what it is that you get to have. Yeah. So with this one, I want to assume that yes, we have tasks that are already running. Yeah. Repetitive tasks. We have available labor in terms of employers, yeah, or employees. All right. And that we already have work available. So this is what it is that we get to have. So how do you get to improve on efficiency? So usually, if you get to have repetitive tasks, the best thing you'll ever get to make to yourself is get to automate these. And this is where AI comes in. Yes, I know most of you at this stage here in my country, Uganda, most of you hate AI, but AI is one of the key tools that is improving on people's efficiency. So when you have repetitive tasks, yeah, say you're always sending out emails, say you're always editing, then upload, and then press the publish button. With AI, this can get to work with you, or this can get to solve the tasks of repetitive tasks. Yeah, maybe if it is calling, currently AI can do the customer calling, the customer care. So all those are repetitive tasks that can easily be automated. And the more you get to automate is the more time you get to have available for you to get more clients, which will in turn increase on your profit margins. Yeah. Now, when it comes to available labor, yeah, with this one, you can still use AI for that, but let's go a bit specific to my country. So when you have available labor, the only way you're going to get more out of them is provide them with further trainings. Yeah. This is seen in most of the big organizations. Let's say banks, let's say NGOs also. They always give those continuous trainings to their employees. It is not just because they want to waste money also, but it is because they want to efficiently improve on their skills, which later improves on their efficiency. And when they improve on their efficiency, it is rest assured that they're going to get more out of what it is that they have, that is the labor or the people who are working, which will in turn increase their profit margins. I hope that now makes sense. Yeah? So when it comes to available work, instead of just doing one task at a time, get to batch create, yeah, or get to batch your work. Yeah? If it is, let's say you're a content creator just like me, instead of you trying to record each and every day a video that you're going to publish, why not just sit down in one weekend or in one weekend and then get to record about 5 to 10 videos at once, and then when you come to editing, you get down and record all the 10 videos at once, which later creates more available time for you to get done with other income generating tasks, which will later on increase your profit margins. I hope now that makes sense. So when you get to do these three, you're going to increase on your efficiency because you're getting more of what it is that you get to have. That is the variable repetitive tasks, the available labor, and the work you have at hand. And when you get to do this, rest assured your profit margins will be sorted. Yeah. So B is said and C is said. Now, I want to give you a practical example of how this would really be applied to in a more realistic sort of business environment. Okay, so bear with me here. It's going to be a bit mathematical, but I know you guys are so smart and you can handle because business is all about numbers. Okay, so know your numbers and you're good to go. Now, let's have a practical example. So, for one, let us imagine we are running business X. Yeah. So before, business X was making 10,000 in revenue. Yeah. So this will be revenue. From this, it incurs costs which are equivalent to 8,000. Yeah. So this simply means that the profit or profit margin is 20%, because initially it is profit of 2K, of which 2K is 20% of the 10,000. So it makes more sense now. All right. Now, this is the after. Let's say we slightly improve on A and B. We ignore C. For now, let's just slightly improve on A and B. Okay. So making slight improvements, we say now we increase on our price by just 10%. Yeah. Increase on price by 10%. Yeah. And then we cut on the costs. That is decrease on costs by 5%. Bear with me. I want you to follow. Don't get lost. Okay. It will mean that if now apply the 10% increase in price, that means our revenue is now going to become 11K. And if we apply a decrease of 5% from this, now this will be new rev. And now our new cost, after applying a 5% decrease, it will become 7,600. This is new cost. Yeah. Remember, we're only applying a slight modification in A and B. That is increase on the price and then decrease on the cost. Yeah. So now this becomes our new math for our new business. Now, if you're smart enough, just let me know in the comments. What do you think is going to be our new profit margins? The smart ones. I'm waiting. Anyway, let me just cut the slack and give you the answers. Okay. Our new profit margins is going to be 31%. Why 31%? Because if you get to do the math, you're going to have some profits of 3,400. This will be profit rev. And when you get to do the math, trust me, this is what you'll get to have. Yeah, 31%. It might be around like 30.5 something, but I did the rounding off and got the 31%. So bear with my math. Okay. So what does this get to teach us? It teaches us that any slight improvements that you get to make in any of these, yeah, regardless of whether it is increasing the price, regardless of whether it is increasing the cost, yeah, or even increasing on the efficiency, yeah, because with efficiency, maybe you get to have more of the people that get to bring in even more money, yeah. But I didn't want to set for that. I wanted us to consider the more mathematical proof things that we can apply right now, which is price and cost. We see that any slight increase in one of these gives us already an increase in the profit margin. Yeah. So we now have a business that makes 31% profit margins. And guess what? Do you think this kind of business will ever scram to chase for more clients? Maybe if they want, maybe if they don't. But if they're happy with the number of clients they get to have, they're going to earn more from what it is that they already have than trying to chase up new clients, which, by the way, is so costly because it is expensive to find new clients than to make the existing clients happy. And when you make them happy, it is also good for you to start charging something that will give you more money. Am I right? Let me know in the comments. And also, this business now worked smarter. Instead of working harder by satisfying as many as clients as possible, it now worked smarter by only targeting a slight increase in just two parameters that we've already seen in our triangle. Okay, so if you're out there, make use of this triangle because it is so important, more so if you want to increase on your profit margins. And maybe if I'm to give you some sort of mindset shift that I want you to have, is that revenue is vanity, but profit is sanity. Therefore, high revenue will always look good. But trust me, it is the profit margins that you always want to have because it is going to keep your business alive and running for years. Okay? And then the other thing is that start focusing less on how much I get to make and start focusing more on how much do I get to keep. Because now, when you have that question of how much do I get to keep, it means you're going to start applying this triangular sort of equation where you're going to now start analyzing and looking at your business in a more smarter way, which will help you increase on your profit margins. Because remember, we said it is the profit margins that will keep your business alive, not just the profits.